The first time it happened, he could hardly believe it. One wrong tap, one flirty message meant for someone else, and his life took an unexpected turn. Mark Sullivan, a single dad juggling 2 jobs and late-night school runs, had spent years learning how to survive the chaos of parenthood. His life was predictable, safe, even lonely, but that all changed in 5 simple minutes. On a rainy Thursday evening, while trying to send a joke to his best friend, his fingers betrayed him. The message, playful and borderline flirty, landed in the inbox of one of the most unapproachable people in the city, Evelyn Blackwood, the ruthless CEO whose reputation for cold professionalism was legendary. Mark's heart pounded as he realized the mistake. Panic set in, followed by guilt and embarrassment. He imagined her laughing at him, deleting his number, maybe even reporting him. And yet, there was a strange, unexplainable thrill too. If you believe in kindness, serendipity, and second chances, pause this story for a moment, like, comment, share, and subscribe to Soulful Stories. You won't want to miss what comes next. Mark's home was small, the kind of modest apartment that smelled faintly of laundry detergent and peanut butter sandwiches. His daughter, Lily, 5 years old, was asleep upstairs, clutching her favorite stuffed bear. He stared at his phone, willing it to explode with a simple, "Sorry, wrong number," but nothing came. Minutes stretched into eternity. Then, a soft chime startled him. Evelyn Blackwood was typing. His stomach twisted, his mind racing with every possible scenario. What could she possibly want after a flirty text from a stranger, or, more accurately, from a desperate single dad? The doorbell rang 5 minutes later. Mark froze, half expecting it to be a prank, half fearing the wrath of a CEO. His heart thumped as he descended the stairs, each step echoing in the quiet apartment. There she was, Evelyn, standing under the porch light, her tailored coat dripping with rain. The icy image from boardroom presentations and business magazines seemed incongruous with the warmth in her eyes as she offered a small, almost shy smile. She didn't come with judgment or anger, only curiosity and something softer, perhaps understanding. Mark's mind spun. He barely had time to invite her in before she stepped inside, shaking off her coat, a trace of rain on her hair. Lily, stirred by the sound, peeked from her room and immediately fell in love with Evelyn's gentle tone and approachable smile. It was a small moment, fleeting, yet it shifted something in Mark's chest, a reminder that kindness, even in mistakes, could open doors to the unexpected. As Evelyn sat on the couch, sipping a cup of coffee Mark hastily prepared, the conversation began awkwardly, stilted, yet genuine. She wasn't the untouchable CEO he had imagined, she was human, with her own vulnerabilities and unspoken loneliness. Mark found himself sharing the story of Lily's bedtime rituals, of sleepless nights, of dreams postponed for responsibility. Evelyn listened, really listened, and something in that exchange softened the boundaries between their worlds. Days passed, and Evelyn didn't disappear from his life. Their accidental connection evolved slowly, delicately, like the first hints of spring after a harsh winter. She began visiting not just as a curious stranger, but as someone invested in Mark's life, in Lily's laughter and everyday victories. Mark struggled with the impossible. How could a CEO with such a commanding presence fit into the quiet, chaotic rhythm of his little family? And yet, every time he watched Evelyn kneel to tie Lily's shoelaces or laugh at her silly drawings, he realized life had a way of blending worlds that seemed so different on paper. The tension between their separate lives created a rhythm of suspense and hope. Mark wrestled with vulnerability, fear of being judged, and the hesitation of opening his heart again. Evelyn, too, carried the weight of expectations, a life structured around schedules, decisions, and appearances. Their bond wasn't a sudden whirlwind of romance, but a slow, steady thawing, like snow melting in a warm sunlit room. Mark began to see that mistakes, if met with courage and openness, could become the very bridges that lead to happiness. One evening, after months of tentative visits, shared dinners, and bedtime stories, Evelyn brought a small sketchbook for Lily, and the child's squeals of delight filled the apartment. Mark watched them from the kitchen doorway, feeling an unfamiliar peace settle over his chest. This was more than luck or accident, it was life's way of rewarding openness, of turning flubs into miracles. The journey from a mistaken text to a burgeoning family bond reminded Mark that connection could arrive unannounced, demanding bravery, patience, and belief in the unexpected. Before we reach the end, I want you to take a moment. If this story has touched even a fraction of your heart, please comment below about a time when a small mistake or chance encounter changed your life. Stories like these remind us how fragile and beautiful our lives truly are. By the time the rain stopped, Mark understood something he had never realized before: life doesn't always follow plans, and love often arrives through detours. Evelyn stayed, not as a fleeting visitor, but as a presence that promised warmth, trust, and the hope of a new beginning. Lily's laughter echoed in the apartment, mixing with the sound of rain trickling off the roof. Mark felt gratitude swell within him, grateful for mistakes, for courage, and for hearts brave enough to answer the unexpected knock at the door. The flirty text had been a mistake, yes, but it became the gateway to a story none of them could have imagined, a story that left them all richer in love, laughter, and the unshakable belief in second chances. If this story has moved your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to Soulful Stories, and let the warmth of kindness ripple through the world, because sometimes, love arrives in the most unlikely, beautiful ways.